Give me just a second, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you make me confused. What exactly is the stream about? Well, this is about a very, very old card game. Apparently, it came out in 2016 called Universal Fighting System. I do believe it got renamed to Universus later on, which we're looking at the site right now. It's gonna be an interesting thing to talk about, let me tell you. Welcome back, Boyglings. I am the expert of experts, the master of disaster, the one and only boy here, Strolla, and this is Universus, or originally known as, Universal Fighting System. So, early in 2016, we had a card game called, come out, which was based on different franchises. Our very first starter box for the series was Penny Arcade. Does anyone remember Penny Arcade at all? Ah. Give me just a second, if you will. One second. So, the game works in a very interesting fashion. There are 3 symbols per card. For the most part, there's usually 3 symbols. Sometimes you may get 2, sometimes you may get 1. There's several different types of symbols. For example, game here, you can see the 3 symbols. The one on the far left is chaos. The one in the middle is all. And the one on the right is fire. And on the card on the right, the one on the left is wind. Or air, sorry. Then you have chaos, and on the far right is void. And over here on the last card, same symbols, but the very last one is death. So there's a few symbols. You got, let me see if I can pull it up. So, you see the symbols here. There's air, all, chaos, death, earth, evil, fire, good, infinite, infinity, life, order, void, and water. So that's all of the different elements in the game. There's also a whole bunch of different types, some of which I'm not gonna know because they're gonna be completely different from what I know. Keywords, types, rarities. The rarities are, the rarities. So if we look here, for example, game here, in the upper left is the cost to play a game card. All character cards usually cost 6 to play. Now what this means is, when you play the card in your field, you flip up the top card of your deck. If the bottom right chord, or bottom right number, which down here is 6, characters usually have 6, is equal to or greater than the cost, then you pass. Now, the more cards you have in your playing zone, the harder it gets. For example, say you play this after you have 2 cards in your playing zone. It would be 6 plus the amount of cards in your playing zone, so it would be an 8 cost. So if you flipped up like a game, you would still need to commit 2 cards, which is 2 cards in your staging area, which I'll talk about that in a little bit, and then you commit them, which is you turn them sideways, you spend them. You know, kind of like in Magic the Gathering, you spend cards. And those stay spent until the start of your next turn. And we'll get over that here in a little bit when we talk about more of that. So, character cards. You can only have 1 character card at the start of the game. It's whoever your leader is. You build your deck around that character. So, you want to build a game around one of these elements. You could try to do dual elements, but that's a little bit riskier too, because say you try to do a triple element. If you play a chaos card, and the next card you play does not have chaos, and you try to play off of all or fire, and the first card does not have all or fire, you cannot play it. So, if you try to play something that's chaos all, but does not have fire, you can play that. If the second card has, like, either chaos or all, you can still play that. But if, you know, you do that, and the third card is, you try to do the other element, you cannot do that. You get restricted to one element, or a symbol, when you, keep going. So, that's how the elements work. The upper left is the cause. The upper right is when you play as a block card. So, there's 3 different attack zones. You have high, mid, and low. If you play a card as a block, you will, if the block is equal to the speed of the attack plus whatever value you have up here in the block. So this would be just +0. It doesn't add anything. All character cards give +0. And they're generally mid-block. So, if you block an attack that is of the same zone as the block, you're fully blocking. You take no damage. If you block an attack that is of a zone that is not of the same zone, you will take half damage, even if you pass the check. Throws will always do half damage, even if you block them. Even if you fully block a throw, you cannot negate a throw damage by blocking. And this does follow the rules with the amount of cards in your playing field too. So if you have 2 cards in your playing field and you play this to block like a 5-speed mid, it'll be the block of the card plus the speed, which is 5, plus the amount of cards in your zone, so 2, so that'll be +7. You'd have to get a 7 or higher to pass. Give me just a second. Okay, so there's that. Now, the bottom right is the... I explained this. The bottom right is what you check to see if you pass the cost of a card. So, here, character cards again are 6s. You can hit a 0. It goes down to 0. It's never higher than a 6. There are ways to make, I forget what they're called now, to make this number bigger through other effects, but, for the most part, you're generally going to be using this and then committing, validations, which are, I'll talk about validations when we get there. Now, up here, this green card here, that's your hand size. Whoever you're playing as your character, this is your maximum hand size. So, the lowest I believe I've seen is like 4, and the highest I believe I've seen is like 7 or 8. I believe the Nakaruru I used to run was 7, and the Sandia I ran was 5. So, you cannot go above that, normally. You can still draw cards. You don't discard cards in this game like in Yu-Gi-Oh! You just cannot draw up to your hand size at the start of your next turn. If you have less cards in your hands than your character hand size, you draw up that hand size. And this, underneath that, is your health. So 25 health is what Gabe has. Some characters are very squishy. The Nakaruru I used to run, I think, had like 18 health. And the Dimitri, that I really hate fighting had like 30 or something like that. They can get really hanky. And then you have your stats like gender, height, weight, and blood type. You might be wondering, what does that even matter with with the card game? There are some effects in the game that are dependent on like blood type or gender. I don't know if there's anything that's been that goes with height or weight at all. I don't recall ever seeing anything deal with height and weight. There's a couple things that deal with gender and blood type. That's mostly Dimitri, though. After that, you go to your character effects. So there's 3 different types of effects. You have E, R, and F. E's are effects. You can use this on your turn or the opponent's turn. Usually during the attack phase. So, for example, Gabe here is E commit 1 foundation. Your chaos attack gets +1 damage. So, what you would do here is you would play an attack. If it's in a chaos attack, you would commit 1 foundation in your staging area, and it will get 1 damage. You can only do this once per attack. And here R, which is a react. So this is like think of like a trap card in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a counter to whatever's happening. So react commit, discard 1 momentum. We'll talk about momentum in a second, but in this case, you would commit game, meaning that once you commit the character or any cards in your staging area, so any foundations or assets, you cannot use their effect for the rest until they're uncommitted. So you commit game, you discard 1 momentum. After an attack you play deals damage, you add to your momentum. So it generally happens after something happens. That's generally how reacts work. I mean, it's react. Simple as that. Momentum. Let's talk about momentum. Momentum is generally cards that go face down underneath the character. These are usually generated from dealing damage with attacks. There are other methods of giving momentum in your momentum zone. For example, this react from Gabe will allow you to put cards in your momentum immediately. Some of them do it immediately, some of them do other things. There's a lot of different ways that this happens. The last one is called a form, which is F. So this generally happens at the start of the turn. It never really happens during a attack phase. You do this before the attack phase or after the attack phase, I believe. Or after an attack in general, if I recall correctly. So that's the general idea. So 25 health, 6 hand size, 6 cost, 6 whatever this was, I forget what it's called now. 0, it adds nothing to block, it's a mid block. Chaos, all fire. You get the idea. I think you understand how this works. That's the general idea. The general way of winning this, there's 2 ways of winning. Reduce their HP to 0, or make them run out of cards. You have a 60 card deck minimum. When you run out of cards to draw, you shuffle your discard pile and then remove the top 10 cards of your deck from the game. Once you run out of cards to draw permanently, you lose. This is Penny Arcade. This is the very first set, actually. Penny Arcade's the very first set that ever came out for UFS. So that's that. So let's take a look at, say, an attack. So that's a character. This is an attack. So this is a 4 cost. So when you play this, you need to pass a check. That's what this is, a check. So this is a 2 check. If you flip this up as a check, you would probably have to commit foundations in order to pass the cost. So it's a 4-cost Who check. It's a plus Who mid-block, meaning if you play this against a hack, it's the hack speed plus how many cards are in your zone, playing zone, plus Who. So if you have like 3 cards in your playing zone and it's a free speed hack, that's 3 plus Who and then plus Who. So you would need a lot to pass it. This is a Who high hack, so I do believe you cannot block this with a low, which makes sense. You can't block highs with low, and you can't block lows with high. Makes sense. So you would need to fully block this by using a card that blocks high, or you can half block it with a card that blocks mid. So it's Who speed high for Who damage. It's air, chaos, and void. So there's a bunch of keywords. I mean, Penny Arcade is a pretty old series. I don't even know if Penny Arcade is still going, or when it ended. Like, keep in mind, this card game came out in 2016, okay? It's been almost 10 years since this came out. So, this is a ranged act. There are things that deal with range. Keywords generally don't do anything on their own. They mostly work with other card effects. So react. After you play this card as a block, draw 1 card and then discard 1 card. So yeah, if you block with this card somehow, you can just draw a card and then discard the card, which back in the day isn't too bad, but like, it is a plus Who block, so I mean, have fun trying to block with that. Main leaping. So this is a 4-cost Who check, 3 high for Who, plus Who low block. It has a stun. So stun is something that does things. So what this means is, when you play this card and use the stun effect only once per hack, you choose, the opponent gets, or I don't know if the opponent gets to choose or if the player gets to choose, but regardless, the opponent will have to commit however many cards or foundations in their staging area that the stun does. So this is stun Who. Your opponent will have to commit Who foundations, which makes this pretty good. It means that they can't use those the effects of those cards until the start of their next turn, unless it lets them use it even when committed. So this is enhance. So you use this while playing the attack. Commit 1 foundation in your staging area. If your opponent has no ready foundations, they lose Who vitality. So this is just another way of just doing extra damage. So you just like, if you got your opponent's staging area completely committed, you just play this and you just, here, I commit 1 card, you lose 2 life. And then you have to deal with the hack on top of that. So these older cards are a little bit, you know, something. This is a 3-cost, 3 check, plus 4 mid-block, so you're generally not blocking with this card. 3 mid for 3. It's a chaos, death, and all. While this card is in your card pool, add plus 1 difficulty to all of your cards, unless you discard 1 momentum before making the control check. So, this is honestly a terrible card, because you're just adding a lot more problems to passing. So this upper left number is the difficulty. Bottom right is the control check. That's what they were called. You generally wouldn't be using this back in the day. Why are we all the way down here? Strange liquid. So it's a 4 difficulty free control check. Notice how it has no block. Not every card's gonna have block. So this is free mid for 2. Chaos, Evil, Water, Range, Enhance, this act gets -1 speed and +1 damage. So you're basically just flipping it until, you know, you use some other cards. It's not really that great, but I mean, to be fair, a lot of the older cards aren't really that great. So, you know, why does it keep putting me back out here? Forget Sequest. Forget Sequest. If there is a card, it's a 4 difficulty 2 control check. Plus, it has a 0 speed. So this is super easy to block. But it does have 5 damage. So it's Chaos, Fire, Good. Powerful is another special keyword. So what powerful means is you can use this once per act. And you see 1. What this means is powerful. You discard X momentum from your momentum to give +1 attack. So powerful 1, if you discard 1 momentum, it gets +1 attack. If it was powerful 3, you discard 3 momentum to give it +3 attack. On top of that, you can use the enhance, which is discard X momentum, X being your choice of how many you want to discard. This attack gets +X speed, so you can make this a very strong attack, a very fast attack. But we'll get to why you don't really want to use this card, because there's a lot of things that just bugs this over very, very easily. Tube Strike. And yes, we're going to go through all the sets, because why not? It's a 4 difficulty 3 control check, +2 mid, 3 mid for free. Chaos Death Order. It's a weapon that works with other card effects. Enhanced, commit 1 foundation. If this attack deals 1 damage, destroy any 1 asset. Assets are green cards. You can have any number of those unless they have a special keyword on it called unique. Which means you can only have 1 of those in your staging area. We'll get to assets later. They're usually pretty strong. They're usually character dependent. Usually. And don't worry, we'll be getting into some more interesting cards when we get to the next set. It's just a starting set. Unscoring Conduct, which is 3 difficulty 3 control check, 2 low, or +2 low, 3 low for 1. Chaos, Death, and Life. It's a kick. Discard, enhanced, discard momentum, this act gets +1 damage. Yeah. So, I mean, now we get to the blue cards, which are, action cards. So, action cards are, additional effects. You can usually play these at any time, depending on, if it's a form, react, or enhance. So, they give additional effects during a turn. So this one's a high couch. It's at X difficulty 3 control check. So this is a little bit interesting. This is a react, so you discard 1 momentum. After your opponent plays an act, its damage is reduced as 0. X equals the difficulty of the act played by your opponent. So when you use the react, when you play this, X is going to be equal to the difficulty of the act that you're reacting to. So if it has like a 5 difficulty, this becomes a 5 difficulty. So this is honestly pretty good back in the day, because it allows you to negate damage, but it can be very, very costly. But since it's on your opponent's turn, and here's the other thing I didn't mention. At the end of the player's turn, all cards in their playing zone gets discarded or removed from the playing zone. So if you play this like first thing, it's going to be a lot easier to pass it. And you can see the assets here. The horns. So this is 4 difficulty 2 control check. Chaos, Evil, Fire. While this card's in your card pool, all of your acts get +2 damage. So this is pretty good for giving yourself a damage boost. It is going to add +1 difficulty to all cards though. Form. Take one card from your discard pile and add it to your momentum. So this is what you can use at any time when you're not in the attack phase, when you're not doing an attack. So, it's not bad for giving yourself momentum, and it's not bad for giving yourself more attack in early days. But again, you'll see why some of these become less valuable over time. As per the usual, so assets. Assets are green cards. They go with their own zone, so they're not part of the same zone as foundations. This almost looks like a keyblade, but it's a golf club. It's an X difficulty 4 control check, Chaos Fire Void, and it's a weapon. When you play this card in your card pool, place X iron counters on it. Enhanced commit. So you commit this card, your attack gets +2 damage. So there's another damage boost. Only playable while the crit and difficulty of the attack is equal to or less than the number of iron counters on this card. So how do you play this then? Where do you get the difficulty of this? I'm actually not sure how you play this into your card zone because it doesn't say how you get the X value. That's weird. And then we get Sir Quaxalot. 4 difficulty 3 control, Chaos Life Water. And it's an asset, form. Place all 3 cards of your deck face down under this card. And then form commit. Take 1 card from under this card and add it to your momentum. So this is a great way of getting momentum. Of course, you don't know what you're putting under this card, so you might put something underneath it that you really, really want. Like a good hack or, you know, a good asset or something. And here are your foundations. Foundations are gray cards. They go to the staging area. And these are how you pass the difficulty usually. So say you got this is a 2 difficulty. Say for whatever reason you flip up a 0 control check. You would have to commit 2 foundations to pass. So you would just turn it sideways and it would stay that way until the start of your next turn. Meaning you want to be careful with what you're doing on your turn. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to block anything on your opponent's turn because you got everything committed. So be careful. This game's a resource game. You got to think very carefully of how you want to do stuff. So 2 difficulty 4 control check. Foundations usually have high control checks, usually. Attacks usually have low ones. So attacks usually have like anywhere between 1, 2, or 3. Foundations usually have 4, 5, or 6. Now foundations can have like 0, 1, 2, or 3. Actions cards can be whatever, same with assets. Character cards are always 6. So if you want, you can put in a whole bunch of character cards to get some good blocks, some good control checks. Okay, so 2 difficulty 4 control check, Chaos Evil Water. React commit, discard 1 momentum, so commit this card and then discard the momentum if you can. If you don't have a momentum, you cannot use this. After you take damage from an unblocked attack, commit any 2 foundations. Meaning, if you take damage from an attack that you did not block, you can pick 2 cards from your opponent, from either your opponent's side or your side, and commit them. Why would you ever pick your own side? That's a very good question. Why would you ever pick your own side? That just seems, you know, silly to do. Give me just a second. Collector! How many of you guys actually do know Penny Arcade? Do you know that, Hate? Do you remember Penny Arcade? Okay, so this is 3 difficulty 4 control check, Chaos, Earth, and All. React commit, After you play a foundation or asset into your card pool, take one card from your card pool and add it to your momentum. Am I lagging? Give me just a second. Am I lagging? Alright, there we go. So this card is, it's not bad. Like, it allows you to just, clear out cards from your, card pool so you have less difficulty. At the same time, you are still committing this, so, like, you know. This is good for clearing out a hatch and adding it to your, card pool immediately. Or your momentum. So it's not a bad card back then. Gadget Addict. 2 difficulty, 5 control, Chaos, All, and Fire. React commit after you play an asset into your card pool. Draw 1 card. Not really that useful. Come back. I made a lot of these cards back in the day. Not for this game, but I made a lot of fan cards. I'm debating if I want to sow those fan cards or not, because I did a lot. And by a lot, I mean, I think I made like 5,000 of them. I think I made like 5,000 of these cards on my own. And here's the funny thing about the way I did it. I tried to make it as accurate of the character as possible. For example, Raisin. Yes, I made a bunch of Ho-Ho cards. Raisin does some very funky things that will work with how Raisin would actually work. Same thing with, like, say, Alice, or, you know, Raymu. They all basically, I tried to make them as close to the character as possible. And I did that with like Smash, I did that with like Final Fantasy. I did a lot of crazy stuff back then. Generic raids, sorry. 3 difficulty, 6 control, Chaos, Death, Fire, React commit 1 foundation. So you can commit any foundation. You don't need to commit this foundation, you can commit any. After one of your actions successfully blocked, take 1 card from your hand and add it to your momentum. So that's not bad, but you're also taking cards out of your hand. I mean, if you don't want a card in your hand, I mean, you can do that, so. Hijinks. It is a 2 difficulty, 5 control, Air, Chaos, Life, React commit. After one of your actions blocked, you and your opponent both lose 1 vitality. I mean, I forget what I made myself. I did make myself in IRL ways. I will not be showing that on stream because, you know, you don't need to see what I actually look like. Secret Obsession, 2 difficulty, 5 control, Chaos, All, Fire. Enhanced commit. Your opponent loses 1 vitality. Only playable while you have more cards in your hand, but your opponent has a better hand. This is honestly pretty good on your turn, because you can just make your opponent just keep losing 1 vitality every turn, which is a really big deal early on. Oh, it's a +3 mid-block, too. I forgot about that. So you can just be like, oh, you have less cards than me, lose 1 vitality. Also, before I forget, you can have 4 copies of 1 card. Like, any card you can have 4 copies of. So, you can have 4 of these in your staging area. So, on your turn, if your opponent always has less cards in their hand than you, and you have 4 of these, you can commit 4 of these, and then make your opponent just lose 4 life every turn. So it's a very strong card early on. 1 life doesn't seem like very much, but when you're getting hit with it every turn, it does start to become, you know, very dangerous. Superhero Blood Transfusion. 3 difficulty, 5 control, Chaos, Earth, Good. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, by the way. React commit. After you take damage, reduce that damage by 2, minimum 1. So this card was a very, very good card early on. because damage reduction was really hard to come by in the early days. And just reducing the damage of an act like Who was such a big deal. It was such a big deal. Especially if you have 4 of these out. That's 8 damage you can reduce an attack by. Only 1 attack though, keep that in mind. Whimsy. This is a free difficulty 5 control, plus 3 high block. This one was also a very good card. It's an Air Chaos Life, or Commit 1 Earth Foundation. Choose one of the following, commit any card, so you can either choose your opponent's character and commit them. So yes, characters do get committed, remember that. So you can lock down your opponent's character constantly and make it so that they can't do anything during your turn. Ready any committed card, so you can make any card of yours uncommitted and usable at any time. There's any player discards a card and any player draws a card. So this is just all around a great card. It's just all around very good. Give me a second. There we go. And now we get Heiko. So that's all of the game cards. Heiko got banned. If I recall, Heiko got banned at some point. Because Heiko was just too good. He is a 7-hand size, so he has 7. You always have 7 cards in your hand, 23 health, Order, Void, and Water, react, commit 1 foundation. After you play a form card or ability, draw 1 card. So as long as he's ready, you can just commit a foundation, just keep drawing cards after using a form. Enhanced commit, your opponent's act is fully blocked. So he can just negate the damage of 1 act outright, which is kinda ridiculous, especially back then when it's like you couldn't really do that very easily. Heiko's very good. And I think he did get banned early on. Critical Strike. It's a free difficulty Who control plus Who mid block. Who mid for free. Fire, Good, and Order. Enhanced, commit 1 foundation. Choose a number and make a control check. If the check matches the chosen number, this act is plus Who speed plus Who damage. So you get a 1 in 6 chance. Actually, you get a 1 in 7 chance because there's zeros. So, if you know your deck well enough, or if you stack your deck, which you can do, you can just give this act Who damage, Who speed, so it becomes a 4 mid or 5. Which makes this very scary in the early days. Otherwise, it's just, a regular attack. Diatribe. It's a 5 difficulty Who control, plus 3 high block, 3 mid for Who, Air, Order, and all. Here's the other keyword, multiple. So if you recall, powerful lets you discard momentum and give it damage. Multiple is different. Multiple is scary. So what multiple does is, when you play this hack, and you use the multiple effect, you add momentum from your momentum pile face down into your playing card zone, up to the amount that you can. If you don't have, like, 2 momentum, then you only put 1 down. If you have no momentum, then you can't use multiple. So what this does is, the multiple makes it a multi-hit hack. So, the face down cards are always going to be the base damage and speed of the original attack. It does not gain the bonuses that the original attack does. It also gets the symbols. So it gets the symbols, the attack zone, and the damage. So, multiple Who, so you get, like, 2 additional copies of this hack. So you'll get 2 additional 3 mids for Who, which it makes this kind of scary. Enhance, your opponent discards 1 card. This is honestly pretty solid. Even though it's at 2 cost, multiples usually have 2 costs. Mostly because you play this, you use the enhance, and make your opponent discard the card, making it harder for it to do anything. Then you use multiple, so now you got 2 additional attacks coming your opponent's way. So you can enhance this card, make it do more speed and damage, and then you can make your next attack do more speed. It gets wild later on. I will tell you right now, multiple gets very wild later on. This is elaborate mechanism. 4 difficulty 2 control, plus 3 high block, 3 level 1, earth, order, and void. Enhance. This attack gets plus 1 damage for each card in any card pool. So this could get very, very scary, especially if your opponent is blocking or using too many react cards in their card pool. And if you are able to get this out later on in your turn, you can make this hit very, very hard. Other than that, it's just, you know, whatever. Erode a human soul. 4 difficulty 2 control, 3 mid for 2, death, evil, order, powerful 1, enhance, discard this card from your card pool. Discard the top 5 cards of any player's deck. So this allows you to just mill your opponent. Now, 5 cards isn't really that much. For the simple fact that, again, once you run out of cards to draw, you just shuffle your deck back. Your discard pile as your new deck and remove the top 10 cards of your deck from the game. So, I mean, you know. I mean, it's still not bad. You can get rid of potentially good cards that your opponent has. So, I mean, it's not bad. Inedible Crusade. 4 difficulty 3 control, plus 4 low block, 2 high for 4. Life Order Water. React. After this attack is blocked, your opponent loses 1 vitality. So I have lost at this effect before. I have been at 1 life before, and then this card got thrown at me, and it's like, okay, I lose. Because this react just, you know, you just lose because this react just will kill you. So this was a pretty good card back in the day. So like, either you get that 4 damage, or whatever damage it does, or you take 1 damage. Regardless, you're taking damage. Alright, I will be right back. I need to go check Poconomic. So BRB. Alright, I am back. Where are we at now? We're at this thing. Honestly, I didn't really, read very much of, Penny Arcade back in the day. Like, that was, like, the only webcomic I read back in the day. I did read, 8-Bit Theater, which took forever to get through, by the way. Because, 8-Bit Theater went on forever. Okay, Large Animal Tranquilizer. 5 difficulty 2 control, 3 mid for 3. Life Order Water. You saw a couple comics? Oh wait, I also remember reading that one, I don't remember what it was called. It was like a big crossover thing with like all the Cartoon Network. You remember that one? With like adult Maggie and Grimm and all of that stuff. Do you remember that comic? I can't remember what it was called, but it was like, it was an interesting series. I do remember that series being interesting. I think it was also one with the like, adult Powerpuff Girls. Like, the funny thing is, I never really watched most of those shows, but, like, those comics were something else, not gonna lie. They were actually kinda interesting back then. Alright, so, 5 difficulty, 2 control, 3 mid for 3, life, organ, water, range, stun free. Yeah, it didn't really age the best. So this allows you to commit free if your opponent's foundation. Enhance, your opponent loses 1 vitality. Only playable while your opponent has less vitality than you. So, you know, if your opponent's dying more than you, this makes them die even more. Yeah, I don't remember what it was called anymore. Like, I do remember it, like, it was like a core memory unlocked. I just don't remember what it was called. Mantis technique. 5 difficulty, 3 control, plus 3 high block. 3 high for 3. Order void and water. Enhance. This attack is unblockable. Only playable while you have twice the number of cards in your hand as your opponent has in their hand. So this is pretty good if your opponent is, you know, being reckless with using their cards in their hand. So you can just make this unblockable. Just, yep, you're just gonna eat this. You see where Heiko's better than, Gabe? By the way, just because it shows the character on here does not mean it's exclusive to that character. Anyone can use this. So, if you really wanted to, you can use this Mantis technique with anyone that has, like, Order, Void, or Water. So, like, you can have Akuma use this if you wanted to. Akuma can use the Mantis technique. Or, you know, you can have, like, Nakaruru use the Inedible Crusade. So, like, yeah, you could just get some very silly things. Grim Hails, that's it, yeah. Polysyllabic. Really big word. It's a 5 difficulty, 2 control, 1 mid for 2. Air Order Void. Enhanced commit 2 foundations, discard 2 momentum. Choose any word printed on the card your opponent has in play. This attack gets plus X damage. X equals the number of letters in chosen word. This card is an interesting card. It's very slow, so it's very easy to block. But this card is a very interesting card. So use this on something like, oh boy, Hatsumaki. You know, or Soryuken. Or like, I think Kokukuretsu-san is one word, actually. Oh god. That's terrifying thinking about that. And now we get the action card. We're almost done with Penny Arcade. Dramatic Monologue. 3 difficulty, 4 control, plus 1 high block. Form, or Order Life Water. Form, draw a card. While this card's in your card pool, it gets the ability R, React. After you play another action card with a form ability, ready any card. Any one card. So, this lets you draw a card, and it gives you a react ability while it's in your card pool. So it's not a bad card. And basically, you play this, to replace it in your hand. That's basically what you're doing. Plus, it's got a very good block. So it's good for blocking, it's good for just replacing in your hand, and it's got a decent react if you use forms a whole lot. But you gotta use accent cards, so that's not as useful. False contraction. Very difficulty for control check. Evil, Order, or Void. And Void. So Akuma can use this. Iori can use this. Nightmare can use this. You see where I'm going with this? React. After an attack deals damage to your opponent, they draw 2 cards and lose 3 vitalities. So yeah, you can use this after you hurt your opponent, and yeah, they get 2 cards, but they do lose 3 life. 3 life is a pretty big loss, honestly. You can really make your opponent die quickly with Heikos. Rare card. This is an asset, 1 difficulty, 6 control. So this is very good for passing cards. Plus 1 mid block, so this is good for blocking. Air, Chaos, Earth. Form, commit 2 foundations. Ready any card. So this card's honestly a very good card. Yes, you have to commit 2 foundations. But it lets you ready anything. So you can use something that you really need. And no, it does not commit this, so you can use this at any given time. When it's not during an attack. So this is a very good card. Low cost, high control check, low block, and you can block pretty much anything, even if it's half block, with a very good effect. Very powerful card. A Thesaurus. Asset. 3 difficulty 4 control plus 1 mid block, so decent for blocking. Earth all water. 4 commit, discard X momentum. Ready X foundations. X must be equal to or less than the number of ready foundations your opponent controls. So this is good for, you know, just readying up your staging area at any different time, assuming you have any momentum. So it's not a bad card. It's a pretty solid card. Calculating. 3 difficulty 4 control plus 3 high block, so you're probably not blocking with this card. Form commit. Oh, it's Order, Void, and Water. Form commit. Choose a card type. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You can reveal 2 or more cards of the chosen card type. Your opponent reveals their hand and discard all cards of the chosen card type. So that means you call, when you use this ability, you call it type. So, character, foundation, attack, action, asset, I think that's it, yeah. And you reveal the top 4 cards. And if you, so 2 of what you call, your opponent has to discard all of that. So, if you call like a hack, and you reveal 2 hacks or more hacks, your opponent just loses all their hacks in their hand. So this card is very dangerous. It's a very strong card. It's a very strong card for just committing itself. You just commit itself. And if you have a additional copy of this, you just, you just do it again, and, you know what you have on top of your deck. You know exactly what you have on top of your deck. So you can just, destroy your opponent's hand if you're, lucky. Dirty Pool. This card's, I think, got banned. And you can probably see why. 2 difficulty 4 control. Evil, Order, Water. Enhanced commit. Make any attack unblockable. Only playable if you have already played 2 or more enhanced abilities during this attack. That is evil. That's why it has evil. But, like, you just play, like, 2 enhances, and then, oh, now you can't block it. I think this got banned because, like, you just couldn't do anything. It's like, okay, I played Who Enhances, and then I use this ability, and then, yeah, it's a one turn kill capability. Now, it does follow a set rotation, so after some time, you couldn't use this card in official tournaments, so it didn't really matter. But in legacy tournaments, where you can use any sets, this got banned. Because, you know, it was too good. Double dealing. 3 difficulty 5 control, plus 3 low block, air, order, void. Enhanced commit 1 foundation. Your attack gets 1 plus 1 speed. Okay. And here is where you see some cards get effects dependent on the character. So if you use this and you're playing as Haiku, you can use this effect. So Haiku form commit 1 foundation. Choose 1 order card in your discard pile and add it to your hand. So this only works when you're using Haiku. Obviously, since I believe Haiku got banned, this effect never gets used anymore because, you know, you can't use it if you're not playing as Haiku. This is pretty strong. You just pick any order card in your discard pile and just be like, yep, it's in my hand now. I get whatever hack I want. I get whatever card I want. What's this? One-upsmanship. 2 difficulty, 5 control, plus 2 mid-block, all fire order. React commit. After you are dealt damage by your opponent's attack, you gain 2 vitality. Only playable while you have more vitality than your opponent. It's honestly not a bad card. It's low cost, high control, it's okay block. And, you know, getting life back is kind of important. Now, it's a little bit harder to do when, layer sets come out, but, like, this wasn't bad when it first came out. Wait, is it Skullduggery? I don't know what that word means. Skullduggery. 3 difficulty, 4 control, evil, order, water. Enhanced. Reveal the top card of any deck. Keep in mind, you can use enhances only once per hack, but notice how it doesn't commit anything. You can just look at the top card of any deck. But like, okay, I use this and look at the top card of your deck. I use this and look at the top card of my deck. Where my curly mustache at? I don't need no curly mustache. Why do I need a curly mustache? So this card is pretty good, just, you know, be able to check what you're gonna be getting. Specialist Knowledge. 2 difficulty, 4 control, fire, order, void. Form commit, discard 1 momentum. Your opponent reveals their hand. Choose to discard 1 card in your opponent's hand. This card is mean because it just lets you get rid of stuff in your opponent's hand so they can't block you. Where's you're a wizard now, Harry. You're a wizard now. So imagine dealing with like 4 of these. You just never have any cards in your hand, like, ever. Treachery. 5 difficulty, 2 control. So this is a very, very hard card to play, and it's very bad for passing sets. Equal death order, react commit. After your opponent plays a non-attack card, discard 1 card from any card pool. Yeah, Fantasia. So this is good for just clearing out cards from a card pool. So you can do this on your opponent. You may be wondering, why would you want to do that? Well, imagine you took damage from an attack, right? You don't want your opponent to get momentum, so you can use this. After your opponent plays a non-attack card, if they do, get rid of that card, so they don't get any momentum. It's not a bad card. It's not bad, but like, man, do you guys remember these window screen? Do you remember these old Windows screens? I remember those. I don't even want to think about because freaking XP, dude. XP was so terrible. Or not XP, it was Vista. Was it Vista? I think it was Vista that was the bad one. No, it was XP that was bad, wasn't it? Fast Intellect. 3 difficulty, 5 control, plus 1 mid-block. Order or a good order void. React commit. After you make a control check when attempting to block an attack, that control check gets plus 2. Only playable while you have more cards in your hand than your opponent has in their hand. So this is good for making it easier to block attacks. But you do have to have more cards than your opponent, which is very hard to do when it's on your opponent's turn, so not as useful. And then these are generic cards. The Flesh Reaper. 5 difficulty, 1 control, so hard to play, very bad to flip up when doing checks. Plus 4 mid block, you're not blocking with this card. 2 mid for 2. Chaos Fire Order, Range. Enhance. Discard or destroy its momentum, foundations, or assets that you control in any combination. This attack gets plus X speed or plus X damage. So, you can make this game potentially just one shot. You remember that one card? Dirty Pool? You remember Dirty Pool? It's Evil, Order, and Water. So, you can use this on Order. Which makes it, very scary. Because you use this attack effect, then you use one other effect, and then you use Dirty Pool. Do you see where the one-hit kill comes from? You just destroy everything you have. You use, another effect. Well, you use another effect first. You set yourself up to do one-hit kill. Now, granted, when we get to the next set, this makes this effect very, very bad, and you will see. Because a certain yoga guy is, he has a banned card. He also has a banned character. Yoga Man was kind of dumb. Fruit, more difficulty to control, chaos, or evil, chaos, death. Form commit, choose one foundation. Make a control check where the difficulty is equal to the difficulty of the chosen foundation plus 2. If successful, destroy the chosen foundation. If you destroy the chosen foundation, you may discard 2 momentum and erase this card. Let me just tell you something. Let me tell you something about this card. I ran an NPE deck. What does NPE stand for? Negative Play Experience Deck. It is a type of deck that is so unfun to play against that you don't, like, you basically want to ban that type of deck. So, what character did I use that was an NPE deck? This card was part of it. And I would use this card alongside another card who just make them never have anything in their stage area. If you are wondering, it was a character from KOF. It was Seth. I made Seth so unfun to fight against with a specific setup that, you know, it made this card dumb. Yes, Seth. That guy. Do you remember Seth? That is a character you would never think to be so busted. But I made him busted. I made him so broken. I was good at making stuff broken if I looked into it. Seth was one, Sandia was another, Nakaruru was another, Lilith was another. Meanwhile, a buddy of mine made some other characters kind of dumb to fight against. Dimitri, Guile. There was another character. Ibuki, I think? Was it Ibuki? No, it was Mai. He made Mai dumb to fight against. Alright, excuse me. Sapient Appliance. Free difficulty, free control. Chaos Earth Order. While ready, all cards get +1 difficulty. Form. Commit this card. So you can commit this card and make your stuff not get any difficulty anymore. So, you can do this at the start of your turn, but then, you know, you're not getting the effect on your opponent's turn, which, you know, makes it not really a good card at all. It's kind of not a very good card whatsoever. And finally, the watch. Okay, 5 difficulty, free control, Chaos Order Void. Form commit, place Heimhukens on this card. Okay, so that means on the next turn you can do stuff. Commit, discard 1 Heimhuken from this card. After you take damage from an attack, your opponent's combat phase ends and your opponent gains control of this card. So this card is interesting. You can make it so that your opponent cannot do more than 1 attack that damages you, but then this goes back over to your opponent. So it kind of just flips back and forth, so you're going to have to be very careful with this card. It can bite you in the butt, but it can also save you. And that was the Penny Arcade set. Penny Arcade is an interesting set. Now, you see all the sets over here. The first set we got 2 different sets, I believe. Street Fighter and Soul Calibur 3. Those were our only 2 sets for a very long time. That is also a very wild selection. So Street Fighter and Soul Calibur. And then later we got KOF and Samurai Showdown. And then later we got Darkstalkers. We got Shadow War. I think it's an original IP, I think. Tekken Shogun. And then it started going. I think around the time of Tekken is when we all stopped playing. Mega Man Shogun. Grim and Wonderland. That's interesting. Cowboy Bebop, Mortal Kombat, 7th Cross, Yu Yu Hakusho Shogun, which that's wild. My Hero Academia Shogun. I don't even know if this game is still going. Actually, it looks like it's... Wow. That's a lot of Yu Yu Hakusho. This game might still be going. Hack on Titan, Tekken 8. I know there's Street Fighter 6. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for some reason. So yeah, there's a lot of, I guess it's still going. Of course, I think the cards got a little bit weirder over time. So, Street Fighter 6, or Street Fighter 2006. So, this is back when, you know, we got actual, unique art for cards. We didn't have, like, you know, art based off of, like, say, in-game stuff. It was all unique art. So I'm assuming that they lost the rights of ours or something, or I don't know what happened. So, suddenly, you may notice there's a 1-star and a 2-star. This does not matter, except for specific situations. So, you remember how I said you can have character cards in your deck to block with? Say you start with Chun-Li 1-star. You can only have 1 copy of Chun-Li 1-star in your character zone. But say you have Chun-Li 2-star. You play this in your zone, it's going to be 6 difficulty, so character cards are always hard to play. But say you play this and you pass the control. At the end of your turn, you place this on top. If you're suddenly 1-star, you can only have one copy of any character card. So, one suddenly 1-star, one suddenly 2-star, etc., etc. Now, what this means is that you will now have, you still have the starting stats that you start with, so 6 hand size, 24 in life. But I think you gain all of the symbols of the card you stack with, and most importantly, you gain all of the effects of the other card. So it's very important to try to play character cards that works with your character. Of course, you still have to play it with like the symbol. So if you're trying to play Life Chun-Li, you're gonna have a hard time playing this Chun-Li because there's no life on it. You can still play it based off of air or water, but if you do that, then you gotta make sure that your other cards have air or water. Otherwise, you're just, you know, you're not gonna be able to use this in a life or a void deck. So this Chun-Li, 6 hand size, 24 health. Wait, question mark? Enhance commit, switch the damage speed values of your attack. Knockback. Enhance commit, discard 1 momentum. Your attack gets plus XP. X equals the damage of the attack. Very, very scary. This is very, very scary. Luckily, you cannot use Fury Pool with this, but still, that's very, very scary. Now, Haiku would laugh because he'd be like, aha, I blocked this fully. In today's standards, this wouldn't really do anything here, sadly. So, it's still a very strong character back then. If you start with her, you have 6 hand size, 23 health, air, void, water. Enhance. Take the off card of your deck to add to your momentum. Only playable after you have played a reversal. So reversals, we'll get those when we get to those. Those are another type of mechanic. React commit, discard 1 momentum. After you successfully block, you may play any kick attack in your hand as a reversal with +1 difficulty. So you can make her into a, this is where the keywords come into play. So yeah, kicks. If it has kick on the attack as a keyword, this is what you use this with. So this can make her pretty scary if you have good kick attacks, and if you have good ways of passing control check. So on Kakuhobi is a 2 difficulty for control, air, good, water. After react. After you block an attack, play any kick as a reversal. Okay. That's pretty good. You just play an attack as a reversal. Not bad. So Lee react. After your opponent successfully plays an attack, partially block that attack, you may then play any kick as a reversal. So this allows you to just partially block, regardless. So if you have no way to fully block, or if you think you can't block with anything, just use this as Chun-Li. It makes her pretty solid. Yaha! Poor Charlie's being bullied. 4 difficulty, 4 control, air, void, water. Form. Add up 2 attacks you play this turn in your hand. Discard 1 card. Not bad for recycling the attacks. Suddenly react. Make a control check. After you decide to block an opponent's attack, play this card as either a high or low block with a block range equal to the control check. So this could be very, very dangerous. Or it could get you very, very decent block. Actually, you're never going to get a very, very decent block because you're going to be like 3, 4, 5, or 6. So, I mean, you know, it's not a very, very good card for Chun-Li. Backflip kick. It's a 4 difficulty 2 control, 4 mid for free. I don't know how that's a mid. That looks like it's a high. Air, good, water. It's a kick reversal. So reversals. What this means is after you block an attack, whether it's a full block or a partial block, you can play this attack as a reversal. And what that means is you're playing it like it's your attack phase. So you block, and then you play this card, and then you do, your normal attack phase. And then your opponent can't block this attack if they want to. Enhance, this attack gets stunned too. Not playable if this attack is playing as a reversal. I mean, to be fair, it's still pretty solid as a regular attack, but because it has a 2 control check, very dangerous to be having. Still don't know why this isn't a high. Because this looks like it should be a high, not a mid. But it is what it is. Heel Stomp. This free can move. It's a 4 difficulty free control, plus 3 mid block, so you're not really blocking with it. 3 high for 2, air, fire, water, kick. This attack can only be blocked by high blocks. So you cannot use a mid block for this. Enhance. The next copy of Heel Stomp you play this turn gets -2 difficulty and +2 damage. So it just gets progressively stronger. And remember, you can have 4 copies of a card. So you can make this hit pretty freaking hard if you really want to. And you can just, destroy your opponent with this because they can only block with highs. Hyakuretsu Kyaku. So we know about Lightning Kick. We know all about the Lightning Kick. 4 difficulty 2 control, +1 high block, so it's very good for blocking high. Air, life, water, kick. Enhance, commit X foundations. This attack gets multiple X. If this attack or any copies of this attack created by its multiple ability is blocked, all other copies of this attack are discarded. So hope that your opponent can't block, and then hope that you have enough momentum and just, hat your opponent with this card. It's a pretty decent card, but the fact that it can be, it is a 4 speed, meaning it's going to be pretty hard to block normally. So it's not bad. It's not a bad card. And with Chun-Li, you can play this as a reversal too. Remember that. Remember that. Chun-Li can make this a reversal. So you can just reverse with this, and that's gonna gunk up your opponent's turn. Kakasu Raku Kyaku. What is this move? Guys, I don't recognize this move. Does any Chun-Li player know what this move is? Does any Chun-Li player know what this move is? Because I don't know what this move is. I cannot tell what it is. 4 difficulty, 3 control, +2 mid block, 4 mid for 2, air, life, water. Kick multiple 1. Enhance, commit 1 foundation. This attack gets +2 speed. I guess? Also, fun fact about multiples, multiples do not get enhanced effects of the original. Is that her wall kick? I don't know if that's her wall kick. I have no idea. Like, I don't know what, I don't know what it is. I don't know why her, I think, the wall kick is, I think it's this one right here, Sankoku Tobi. I think that's the wall kick. I want to say that's the wall kick. knee flip kick. Ryu just got kneed right in the face. Poor Ryu. 4 difficulty free control, +1 high or mid, 3 high for who. Air life water kick. Enhanced. If the next hack you play has a mid hack zone, it gets -1 difficulty. And then Chun-Li enhanced, so you can play the first enhanced, and then if you're Chun-Li, you can also use the second enhanced, I believe. The next kick or throw hack you play this turn gets +2 speed. That's very scary. You use that with her lightning kick. They're not blocking that first hit. I don't recognize this. Is her as from Alpha? So, I don't recognize this move from Chun-Li because I don't remember Chun-Li. I don't remember ever seeing this from Chun-Li either. I wonder which game Chun has this in. Alright, give me just a second, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check stuff. Make sure that Nimmy isn't, you know, streaming at, random. Because, you know, you never know with her. She might just, you know, randomly pop up a waiting room at any given time. Let me go check that real quick. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. While we listen to some... Dude, Street Fighter 3 has some great music. Like, everything in Street Fighter 3 is just great. Everything is... Okay, she does have a stream coming up. She must have just put the stream up. Give me just a second. I think she just put the stream up. One second. Alright. Very specific. Is there anti-air for Alpha? Yeah, some of these are very specific. Okay, so, Kosu Ho. I am gonna be stuck with that set, so we're not gonna get through this set. But we're gonna try to get through what we can. 5 high or 5 difficulty who control, Capcom PCG. What Capcom PCG? What do you mean Capcom PCG? What are you talking about? There's an online one? I don't know what that's like. Are you talking about, like, Heppen? Is that what it's called? Heppen? Enhance, oh, it's a reversal throw. I might. I wonder if they ever get Midnight Bliss for that yet. Like, Dimitri's in there, but I don't think they ever implemented Midnight Bliss as a hack in that game yet. Enhance. If this hack deals damage, discard the top card of your deck. If your discard card is a kick hack that you can normally play that hack. No control check necessary. So this allows you to do damage regardless of if your opponent blocks, unless there's a specific way of blocking throws, like Heiko. And if you're lucky, if it's a kick hack, which, I mean, if you're playing Chun-Li, you're gonna make it like kicks, you know? You're gonna be able to just play it for free, which is kinda scary. This is a very good card, but it's also high cost and low control, so it's also risky. Senzo Su. I don't know what this act is. More difficult who control 3 low for 3, air, earth, water, kick. Enhanced, commit 1 foundation. This attack gets +2 speed. If you have another attack in your card pool with a speed of 5 or greater, this attack gets +2 damage as well. Not bad. So this will always be 5 low for 3 if you use the effect. Here's the thing about attack cards. For a general rule of thumb, you usually want attack cards with a control check of 3. You usually don't go with 2s or 1s very often, for very obvious reason. Street Fighter 4 move. I don't think Street Fighter 4 was around, like this is Street Fighter 2006. Like, there's no way this came out in 2006, right? I thought it was 2016 this came out. No, this was 2000. Oh my god, this was 2006. My god, it was 20 years ago. Oh my god, this was 20 years ago, almost. It was 20 years ago! Fun fact, this is the card game that me and my buddies went to after we all quit Yu-Gi-Oh! So, yeah. This isn't a bad card, but that 2 control check is ugh. And here is where we get a specific, it was 2000, yeah. So I'm pretty sure this was before Street Fighter 4. Senretsu Kyaku. It is a 5 difficulty, 1 control, so yeah, don't look this up as a control check. 5 mid, 1 damage. Air, good, water. Chun-Li only. So you can only use this if you're playing as Chun-Li. Makes sense. Kick, multiple free, reversal. You can tell that there's some cards that are meant to be a character's ultimate. This is one of them. This is Chun-Li's, super, lightning kick super. Based off of, you know, Alpha 1 remove, yeah, it's probably, yeah. Enhanced. This attack and all of its multiple copies get +X damage. X equals the number of other attacks in your card pool, not counting multiple copies of this attack. So you want to play this late in your attack phase, but you also gotta be sure that you can pass it. So this gets very scary, especially late in the game when you have a lot of foundations and momentum and stuff. Chun-Li will destroy you with this. And remember, this is a reversal, so you can block with an attack, and then play this as a reversal, and it'll just get +1 damage. Just from that block attack. So yeah, if you're running Chun-Li in the early days, you're probably running this card. Which you should. It's her ultimate normally. Sorin So. I feel like this is her, like, slap move. You know, her move from Street Fighter 3. You know, I think it's like forward heavy punch. 4 difficulty, 2 control, 3 high for 2, air, fire, water, punch reversal. You may not play this card as a reversal after you have blocked a low attack. Weird. Enhanced. Your next air attack this turn gets +2 damage. That's pretty good, especially if you're running an air deck. Also, poor Dawson. What did Dawson do get slapped like that? Also, I don't think I'd want to get slapped by Chun-Li. I mean, some people do, but I wouldn't want to get slapped by Chun-Li. That would hurt. A lot. A lot. Spinning bird kick. this is an infamous move if ever there was one. 5 difficulty who control, plus who mid, block, 3 high for free, air all water. Suddenly only. Nope, you're not gonna see like Harry doing a spinning bird kick. Yes, Harry is all. Harry has all, so if you could've gave him spinning bird kick if it wasn't suddenly only. Kick multiple who range. Enhance, discard 1 card. Take 1 attack card with speed 5 or greater in your discard pile and add it in your hand. You're not really going to see very many attacks with 5 speed, so this is kind of whatever. But the fact that it's a 3 high for 3 multiple who is kind of good. And remember, as Chun-Li, you can play it as a reversal, so it's pretty good for her. Henshinsu Kyaku. I don't know what this move is. I don't know. It's probably from Alpha. 5 difficulty who control 4 high for 3. Air, life, water, kick. Enhance. Commit your character card. This attack gets +1 speed. If this attack deals damage, discard it from your card pool. I mean, committing your character is such a big move. Because your character is such a core component of your deck. So only do this if you're sure that you're not going to use your character for anything else at all. Enhance or Chun-Li enhance. This attack gets +1 speed. If this attack deals damage, ready your character card. So this is good for Chun-Li again. This is very good for Chun-Li. You use the commit your character card to give it +1 speed. Again, if it deals damage, it's gone. Again, Chun-Li enhance to give it +1 more speed, making it a 6 high. So, it's very good for Chun-Li. Sadly, it's a new control check, so you kinda don't really want that. The Hermit Pursuit, who difficulty, who control check, so you, air, void, water, react, commit. After you fail a control check, your combat phase does not end. So that's another thing. If you fail a control check at any time when you're playing a card in your card pool, your turn just ends automatically. So don't fail a control check for playing a card. If you fail a control check for effects, that's different. Your turn does not end. Clear your card pool and start a new combat phase. You may not play acts for the rest of this turn. Only play if your opponent has more foundations than you. It's kind of strong, but at the same time, it's kind of like, who control? Yuck. Suddenly, react commit, discard 1 momentum. After you fail a control check for an air card, you may make the check again. That's okay, but like, you know, it's still a who control check, so, you know, Interval training. Who difficulty 5 control, which is very good. Air, life, water, enhanced commit. Your attack gets +1 speed. If the attack was played as a reversal, it gets +2 speed instead. That's not bad. For Chun-Li, this is very, very good. So it makes your attacks just, you know, very hard to block. As you can see, Chun-Li's low damage, but very high speed. That's what Chun-Li's gimmick is. Well, talking about the other characters later, there's our guy. There's our guy who, we're gonna talk about next time, who is, broken, and you will see why he's broken. 3 difficulty, 4 control, air, chaos, water. Enhanced, discard 1 momentum. Your attack gets +2 speed. Not bad. It's not bad for anyone, really. I mean, 4 control is kinda, and 3 difficulty is kinda, but like, it's best for air and chaos because they're good at giving momentum. Not so much water. Water's not as good, if I recall. But chaos and air are always give momentum. especially later on. Each symbol generally does something specific. So air's usually fast and generates momentum. Chaos is good at getting momentum and messing with control checks. Life is good at reversal, speed, and, you know, gaining vitality. Death is good at destroying stuff, hitting hard. Earth is usually your throws, and generally just sturdiness, etc., you know. And that's all we're gonna do today. We will be back with Golsum. So just to give you a look, we have Golsum. We have, it's not gonna show us our characters. As you can see, there's a fair amount of cards. So next time, when we come back to this, we are gonna be talking about Golsum. And hopefully we'll finish the Street Fighter set. So I hope this has been at least a little bit entertaining. By the way, I never used Chun-Li in any game. I don't really like Chun-Li. She's not a character that fits my play style. Golsum you would think would fit my play style, but I don't even really like using Golsum. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe I should give Golsum a try again. Maybe Golsum would work for me. But I like Akuma. I like Blanca. I like Vega. I like Ryu. And I do like Guile, but I don't use Guile very much. But yeah, alright. That is all for now. I am going to jump over here. I'm going to make this go away. So, let's see who's streaming. So, Nimi's going to be streaming here in about half an hour. Saba should still be streaming. Yeah, she's doing Wizard Night, whatever that is. Anyone else streaming? Cecilia is going to be streaming at midnight. Bay's going to be streaming at 11. It looks like Coyote's going to be streaming an RPG tonight. That's all that's streaming right now. Don't see anyone else. Oh, looks like Callie's going to be doing another Elden Ring run at 10. So those are all the people that are streaming today. Alright, so that's it for today. Tomorrow's gonna be the 1.1cc run for normal mode on Unconnected Marketeers. I have not tried the extra. I might do that. I might try that tonight if nothing interesting happens. So we'll see. Because I don't really need to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I beat that last night. Let me go ahead and make that go away. And then Monday will be a short game. I don't know what it's going to be yet. Tuesday will be a long game. I haven't decided that yet. Wednesday will be I forget what we're doing Wednesday. Let me look. What the heck are we doing Wednesday? Where is Hank? It was going to be something silly. It was going to be like, it's going to be X-Men Children of Adam. That's what we're doing. It was going to be like a SNES Double Dragon game, Double Dragon 5, but, you know, we didn't really want to. Thursday will be more Yu-Gi-Oh! And then Friday will be whatever the long game is on Tuesday. So that is all for today. I will catch you all next time on the flip side of the coin. My advice for today: if you're gonna invest in a card game, don't break yourself. There's a reason why card games kind of moved to online, too, because if you try to play the card game in physical form, which, you know, I prefer physical over digital any day, but, like, it gets very expensive. It gets very, very expensive. Like, look at it gets ludicrously expensive. Like, ludicrously. So, if you're gonna go into card collecting, be careful you don't break yourself, okay? It's not worth, you know, making yourself broke over, you know, cardboard. Alright, that's all for today. I will catch you all next time, whenever that may be. On the flip side, boy, you all have a great day. And for everyone else, I'll catch you at Nimmy's stream. So until then.